Good evening. Welcome in daily UPC Italy audio program. Pack the punch before we get fab at chips. The Economic Times. Plastic solution. The Hindu. An an inheritance tax will help reduce inequality. Now the full editorial. Pack pack a punch before we get fab at chips. The Economic Times. Tata's set ball rolling in earnest for our BSMP. India has moved a step forward in its BSMP big semiconductor manufacturing plan with Tata Electronics exporting packaged semiconductor chips, silicon wafers containing hundred of computer chips need to be packaged in material that keeps them safe and allows electricity to pass through them. This is the means through which chips communicate with the rest of the computer system, although not as fundamental as fabricating chips. Turning semiconductor material into a usable product before chips can be manufactured. Packaging them involves advanced materials research to prevent overheating. Tatas are seeking feedback ahead of upcoming chip packing capacity in Assam. This is in addition to a fabrication unit they are setting up in Gujarat with Taiwan's Power Chip Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation. Tatas could make up for India's initial missteps over semiconductor manufacturing. Government of India roll out incentives for chip making when the need to diversify this uh, concentrated value chain became evident to policymakers globally. The scheme was revised after initial proposals in an effort to broaden the product range, which led to the dissolution of the JV between Foxconn and Vedanta. Subsequently, Micron proposed to set up a chip testing and packaging unit in Gujarat. Tatas have gone beyond with plans for both fabrication and packaging. Government of India is okay with peripheral development in the domestic semiconductor industry. It gives play to PLIs in the expectation that the scheme will be able to eventually draw in the really big investment in chip manufacturing. It also allows infrastructure to reach levels required for chip fabrication. The Tata project timelines put them ahead in the race with industries seeking resilient chip supply after the chokehold of the pandemic. In the process, it puts India on the map of chip making nations. Speed is of essence as countries try to establish domestic manufacturing to break Chinese dominance of the export market. With the direction set right, uh, it is now one chip of the block at a time. Plastic solution. The Hindu. Plastic pollution cannot be ended by treaties without investment in alternatives. The Global Plastic Treaty, an ambitious initiative involving at least 175 United Nations member nations to eliminate the use of plastics, concluded its fourth round of negotiations recently. The goal is to finalize a legal document by the end of 2024 with timelines by when countries must agree to curb plastic production, eliminate its uses that create wastage, ban certain chemicals used in its production, and set targets for recycling. Unfortunately, an agreement is not in sight. This is yet another round of negotiations scheduled in Busan, South Korea this November. The primary hurdles are economic. Oil producing and refining countries such as Saudi Arabia, the United States, Russia, India, and Iran are reluctant about hard deadlines to eliminate plastic production. A coalition of African countries supported by several European nations is in favor of a year around 2040 to ensure that a timeline for reduction is in effect. This is also disagreement on whether con- contentious elements in the treaty should be decided on by a vote or consensus, the latter implying that every country has a veto. India's opinion, other than being uncomfortable with binding targets, is that a legally binding instrument to end the plastic pollution must also address availability, accessibility, affordability of alternatives, including cost implications, and specifying arrangements for capacity building and technical assistance, technology transfer, and financial assistance. This language, and India is not the only proponent, is reminiscent of the principle of common but differentiated responsibility enshrined in climate talks. Under this, countries must have a common targets, but those who privileged must support others and take on sticker targets themselves. In the year that the plastic treaty was mooted in 2022, India brought into effect the Plastic Waste Management Amendments Rules 2021 that banned 19 countries of single-use plastics. It, however, does not include plastic bottles, even those less than 200 ml, and multi-layered packaging boxes as in milk cartons. Moreover, even the ban on single-use plastic items is not uniformly enforced nationally, with several outlets continuing to retail these goods. The global distribution of the plastic pollution is unequal, with Brazil, China, India, and the US responsible for 60% of the plastic waste, according to a report by the non-profit EA Earth Action. Much like how transitioning away from fossil fuel invites its own challenges, plastic pollution cannot be ended by merely signing treaties. Three, there needs to be much greater investment in alternative products and making them affordable before realistic targets are decided upon. An inherent tax will help reduce inequality. Property of the elite being be bequeathed to descendant implies that the descendant do do no work to acquire it. There is no economic reason for it to be a freebie for them. Advait Mohri is an independent researcher, and Rajendran Narayan teaches at Aziz Premji University, Bangalore, and is affiliated with LibTech India. Armark Vice Chairman of Indian Overseas Congress Sam Petroda, and on implementing an inheritance tax as a tool of wealth redistribution has sparked massive debate. In this article, we present rationale on why high inequality is harmful and advocate for progressive taxes as a mechanism to reduce inequality. Primarily, we underscore the need to take a view of citizenship where the poor and the rich can participate equally in democratic decision making. However, in an unequal society, a handful of dominant individuals can build a disproportionate amount of power through control of resources. This will likely lead to a few wealthy elites dictating the socio-economic and political decisions aimed to benefit them at the cost of the majority. The recent electoral bond scam bears witness to this. The citizenship of wealthy elites would then carry more weight than the majority of the country. This is ethically hazardous. Why inequality matters? First, inequality harms growth in the medium to long run by hampering farm productivity, reducing labor income, and diverting uh, resources away resources away from rights such as education. Second, in unequal countries, the place of worth holds inordinate power in directing lifetime outcomes. In India, a third almost a third of the variation in consumption can be explained by the place of residence, the state and city or village. Third, high inequality is also associated with political polarization and increased conflict. Fourth, inequality is likely to have a negative multipolar effect on the economy. Diminished earnings for the poor lead to reduced consumption and savings and increased indebtedness. This reduces aggregate demand, limits production and investments, and lead to lower growth rates in the future. Using labor bureau data, Jean Jean Dreze and Ritika Khera showed that while real wages of agriculture laborers grew by 6.8% between 2004 to 2014, they declined by 1.3% in the last decade. Using periodic labor force survey data, a Bahut Karnataka report shows that 34% of households earn less than the recommended daily minimum wage of rupees 375 in 2022-23. Using Reserve Bank of India data, Jiko Dasgupta and Srinivas Raghavendra voiced concern about the sharp reduction in household savings and increased debt. In contrast to these, the richest 1% holds 40% of India's wealth. Some commentators argue that some inequality during growth is inevitable and the priority instead should be towards reducing poverty. However, reach by Tianu Fan and co-authors showed that the gains from India's growth over the last 2 decades have been skewed towards high-income urban residents, keeping keeping everything else the same. There is nothing inherently special in the children of the wealthy compared to the children of the poor. The constitution mandates equality of status and of the opportunity. As such, the government is obliged to take steps to reduce the disparities arising from accidents of birth and inheritance tax. The a wealth tax is a recurring tax on all physical and financial assets an individual owns. And inheritance tax differs from a wealth tax in two ways. It is intergenerational and levied once in a lifetime. These taxes are meant to be applied to individuals having high wealth above a threshold. Uh, when when implemented well, these taxes reduce the concentration of wealth and encourage shifting in investments from non-productive to productive activities. Property of the site, property of the elite being bequeathed to descendants implies that the descendants do not work to acquire it. There is no economic reason for it to be a freebie for them. Some might argue that inheritance tax will disincentivize innovations, but this disregards that innovation is needed to be com- competitive today and suggests that innovation is solely to propagate a dynastic control of resources which is at odds with democratic ideals. On the contrary, revenue generated from inheritance tax can be used to fund a diversified set of innovations. An advanced country like Japan has up to 55% inheritance tax. A variant of the inheritance tax called estates duty was levied in India between 1953 to 1985, but this was abolished owing to administrative administrative cost. However, the economist Rishabh Kumar shows that this was effective in reducing the top 1% personal wealth share from 16% to 6% between 1966 and 1985. Another approach is the land value tax (LVT). This taxes the rental value of land without considering the property built on it. This is borne by the landowner and not the tenants. Unlike labor, land is a natural resource and is unresponsive to changes in taxes, making the LBT an efficient source of revenue. Given the role of land ownership in perpetuating feudal caste relations in rural India and the pervasive politician builder nexus in urban India, LBT can be a useful redistributive mechanism. The, the detractors claim that tax evasion among the wealthy makes makes these taxes impractical. However, recent research by Natasha Sharin in the US projects that sufficient investment in improving tax compliance can yield a revenue up to 10 times the investment. Mm, Nathaniel Handren and co-authors show that auditing the top 1% and 0.1% generated 3 to 6 times the return on investment. Economists Jayati Ghosh and Prabhat uh, Patnaik demonstrate that a 2% wealth tax and a 33.3% inheritance tax only on the top 1% in India can rise an additional public expenditure of 10% of the GDP. This can be used to ensure a bouquet of socio-economic rights for the poor, like living wages, right to health, employment, and food. Given technological advancements, these are possible if there is political will. Thank you.